Your old fashioned is deliciously, I mean, it's a delicious dessert. So how did you
And
come about this? And this is not like a typical old fashioned. You didn't just throw the typical ingredients in. So you threw in cherry bark, bitter orange peel, Saigon cinnamon, whole Tahitian vanilla bean. How did you come up with this product? This is absolutely gorgeously delicious.
thank you. Thank you. It's one that I really wanted to put like every ounce of my effort in because I think for
Really?
something like an RTD, there can be a little bit of a race to the bottom. It can be sort of just thought like, all right, we're going to formulate this for the mass produced product.
It is
Uh,
deeply saddening, but yes.
yeah. and
Yeah.
and that also leaves room to do a more high
Mm,
end
mm,
version of it, if you
yeah.
ask me.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
this is, so I really wanted to think about every component of that and try to do every component myself. So an old
Mm,
fashioned, what is an old fashioned? It is whiskey, sugar, bitters.
yeah.
Now, the traditional approach from like, you know, it would be to not really try to do like all that stuff yourself or
Hmm.
to, I mean, how should I put this? I wanted to be able to select the type of sugar that we're using and then
Hmm.
make the bitters myself so that I have control of every aspect of the flavor. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah,
I
because I
mean,
mean,
I
otherwise,
experience. I'm tasting that. It
yeah,
is amazing.
otherwise you're leaving it in someone else's hands, and
Mm,
and particularly if you're not, really thinking about the type of sugar that you're using, you're probably just going to use like traditionally you use table sugar, which is a very neutral flavor. And
wait.
I thought there's
Versus what other options are there for
so
sugars?
I use a demerara sugar. So
Okay.
it is a natural type of brown sugar that has a lot of deep caramel notes, a lot of
Mm.
darker flavors, and I caramelize this. I actually use a large pot over an open flame, and I mix the sugar without any water for about 20 minutes, so it starts to caramelize and clump, and you get some of those deeper, more almost burned flavors from that.
Mm.
Um, After that, we'll add water and create the syrup. Here's actually where I start to make the bitters. So
Hmm.
instead of using alcohol to extract the flavors of your bittering agents, and make bitters that way, I
Hmm.
sort of harnessed my brewing background where I wanted to be able to use um, heat to capture flavors. So
Mm.
if you're making a batch of beer, you will typically add hops at different times throughout the boil, so
Hmm.
that they'll have different amounts of time in that
Bittering
boil.
different
Bittering,
bittering
right?
levels, right? You get
Exactly.
bittering, flavoring, then aroma, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
So for me, I thought, well, what if I did that with, our cinnamon, our cinchona bark, our wormwood, our spearmint, our bitter orange peel, and think about every aspect of those rather than having them macerate in alcohol for the same amount of time. What if I can layer that? That's kind of, again, my approach to making single malt whiskey is trying to, instead of making everything uniform, try to create different flavor layers. So to that end,
Yeah.
I'll take like the more delicate, the more, let's say, the heartier flavors that are going to be more bittering. Had
Hmm.
those go closer, have those be boiled for longer. The
Hmm.
lighter flavors might come at the very end or even at flame out, so they're not being boiled at all, but the flavor is still being extracted a little bit by the heat. And then I have a syrup that has both the sugar component and our bitters, and I can mix that with our high rye bourbon to create our old fashioned.